Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. I'm your host, Pablo Pereira. Today we come to you from the Lost Hills Sheriff's Station, where we're about to interview the station's newest captain. And as you're about to find out, this captain is no stranger to this area. Let's go inside and check him out. I go.
You want to just walk in here real quick?
Yeah, what's this?
This is the watch commander's office.
Ah, okay.
And this is the shift commander. He makes all the calls on situations, and the watch sergeant.
Hi, how are you?
And this is what this is. This is the command center of the station. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So what goes on in here then?
This is where the magic happens.
Uh-huh.
No, really, in reality, usually the watch sergeant is in that office, adjacent to the front desk. And the sergeant would oversee the front desk and all the day-to-day operations. It's just now we're doing some construction, so the watch sergeant's in here. So basically my job would be overall command of day-to-day operations of the station, approving arrests, monitoring critical incidents or emergency calls, that type of thing, just to make sure that the field units in the field were handling them correctly and that kind of thing. So my job is really to oversee the operations and manage the sergeants, and then the sergeants directly supervise the deputy.
We had a live pursuit the other day on Channel 9, and the watch commander walks across the hallway, and he monitored or regulated the pursuit, make sure it was in policy, whether it was safe, and the watch commander did a great job. And it was seen live on Channel 9, but watch commander did a great job, and that's how important this position is.
So the location where they're at there is going to be where you're at right now.
And this is where all the calls come in. This is our dispatch area, and citizens call, and this is where the calls originate from. So, and again, we're doing construction. They're doing nice, modern, high-tech, and they're just temporarily displaced here, but they do a great job. And they're the ones that take the phone calls from the citizens and type in the calls.
So this is not 911 calls?
Yes, this is 911 and business calls, routine, so it's everything. This is the emergency center for this whole area.
Well, my primary concern is that.
And they take what kind of calls in here?
Inquiries, basic theft calls, high priority calls like robberies in progress, medical responses, traffic accidents, everything. Whatever a citizen picks up the phone and dials 911 or our station number, it starts here, and they decide how important it is, how many cars should respond. So this is the brain trust of the station.
This is a stressful job then.
Yes, it is. And they're very resilient and very mature and patient people. They do a really good job.
How many calls you get a day in here, you think?
Okay.
Guys, on general, what's the average calls here per day, Jamie? Maybe, just average? Wild guess? A couple hundred? Yeah, day shift. Probably a couple hundred a day, just, yeah. And some routine, it's relative. I mean, how many emergent calls, but about 200 a day. You know, some other stations get 500 to 1,000, but if it's 200 here a day, that's pretty good. Keeps them active. This is the jail area.
So when you get arrested, the first thing you come in here, and I guess what happens?
This is where they're booked. The police officer, deputy takes their information down, they're booked and processed through. This is where they're fingerprinted and they're run for wants and warrants. And then the jailer, once they're done, they will put them in the back in their own cell for however long it takes to get arraigned or appear in court or bailed out or released.
And what are these rooms then?
They're the booking cells. They're the initial, original place that someone comes into jail and is what we call booked, physically booked.
And then they're actually moved from here?
Yeah, through the back through holding cells, where they can live actually for a few days until they go to court.
So they only stay here for a couple of days?
For a couple hours, yeah. In the station, yeah, a couple days until they go to court. And then once they go to court, the judge will determine, are they going to release them? If they hold them over, they'll probably go to the county jail downtown or up near Santa Cruz. This is just our administrative, secretary's area that process the paperwork and records and things like that. So we're going to walk back toward our detective bureau. This is all of our detective bureau. Detectives sit at their desk, and this is where all the cases are investigated. If a burglary comes in, we'll have a burglary detective. He's a special That's a special area of expertise. We have crimes against people and property. We have detectives that specialize in that. We have traffic, our traffic offices, or what we call our juvenile team that deals with school. They have the offices back here, but Sergeant Brooks has been handling traffic for years, and we have our traffic investigators, so it's all traffic.
Well, the captain was saying that, traffic is one of his priorities. I guess that's good for you then, isn't it?
Definitely. We'll keep working at it, and hopefully we can do some more improvements and keep it as one of the top traffic programs in the county.
This is my old stomping grounds as a sergeant lieutenant, so like we talked about school issues relative to drugs and narcotics. We have investigators and very good informational detectives that will share with school administrations. And I've worked narcotics 2 times, and I love narcotics, and this is their little office, and detectives are probably out on surveillances right now or doing something. You asked me specifically about priorities, but school. These detectives deal specifically with the schools at a personal level, whether it's bullying, drugs, and there's a sergeant and 4 to 6 detectives, give or take, and Calabasas High School, Agoura High School, Malibu High School, very in touch with the principals and the school administrators. This is going to be my second favorite because it is the secret to success to the cooperation between law enforcement and high schools. So it's called the J team.
Gotcha.
Yeah, very good team. So, and I'm going to keep it that way. There's a trailer, and we have a couple more over here, and it has to do with in case a fire breaks out and the wind's blowing up. So I don't think it's a red flag day, but if something happened, we're here for the citizens to take this station and put it in Calabasas or in Malibu, so we have a command post for public safety response and our reserves and our disaster response people. So
these are mobile units.
Yes, they're
that
mobile
you can
units.
take to other parts of your
Yes,
coverage
yes,
area.
yeah. So we're
And how
right
often
there.
do you dispatch those, do you think?
Well, it depends. I mean, the fires, I personally have been involved in 7 fires out here in the Malibu area in my 30-year career. It's when a fire breaks out. So it's mainly for fire. We can use it as a command post for missing people, critical missing, for high profile or a intricate mountain rescue. We can possibly pull that out there and personnel have a place to, plan and maybe relax, regroup, equip themselves. So it's very important. This is the Malibu Lost Hills Search and Rescue Team. A lot of reserves, they get paid $1 a year, but they donate so much time to the community, specifically in training. And it's EMT, paramedics, and anybody that's stuck in the mountains south of here in the canyons. These guys respond on their own time. And if the fire department can't get there, they'll go actually rappel and hike down there, and they'll help them out. Oftentimes they get hoisted out via the fire department helicopter, sometimes our Air 5. But these guys, they enjoy what they do. They're all physically fit, and they all have their own career, family, and profession, but they do this for the community.
So how
this is all their
helpful?
equipment.
Yeah, this is all the.
Everything here is all. That's how big our reserve rescue team is.
So they perform what types of things?
Well, it's mainly hikers, day hikers, and up in Malibu Creek State Park, up in the Santa Monica Mountains, anywhere. If they get lost, these guys will go out and find them. They'll go ahead and, if they're injured, they will hoist them out or actually litter them out on a litter with wheels or actually hand carry them. And they do it all the time. Steep, rocky environments. There's rattlesnakes out there, poison ivy. These guys and girls just donate their time to the community. And this is the last part. This is where the deputies, it's called the old roll call. In some of the East Coast law enforcement movies, this is where they hold briefing before every shift. The sergeant watch commander will tell the deputies that are about to go on the field what's happened on the prior shift, what to be on the lookout for, any issues or concerns. But this is called the roll call or briefing room.
So do you miss, now that you're the captain and it sounds like you've had a pretty eventful career, and by no means am I saying it's over, but
Right.
Are you going to miss that going out with the guys type thing, the women?
I still do. I still do.
You still
But
go out?
no, I miss it because I've had a very blessed, exciting career. But I still go out. I'll still go out and patrol. I'll still go help detectives out. I still will give advice to my narcotics detectives. Yeah, I do miss it, but I'm a hands-on type of person where I want to get out of the office and go visit the city and back the deputies up, and I go to the briefings, hey guys, how can I help you? And yeah, I do miss it. I miss the frontline type of work.
Talk to me a little bit about the process in getting this job for you.
The process entails, obviously you have a resume. You have to be a lieutenant for so many years. And I believe the department, the sheriff specifically, likes to see some experience in a varied history of units on the department, whether it's patrol, administrative, investigative. And he looks at all the above. And the department executives will submit several names to the cities. For instance, Malibu Lost Hills has 5 cities and 2 county areas. And the sheriff will submit names. In this case, they submitted 5 names. And the 5 candidates will go through an interview process with the city managers and 2 of the county area representatives.
So what was it like talking to Tony Corrales from the city of Calabasas? What's that process like? That has to be a little different for you.
Yes, it was. Obviously, the cities, individual cities like Calabasas, has their concerns and issues and specific requests for the sheriff's department, who polices their city. So he asked me, and along with his peers, certain questions. What is my management philosophy? What is my budgetary philosophy relative to contract cities? What's my philosophy on crime and punishment? What do I think about the needs of Calabasas? And I think I knew the needs, which is traffic and crimes of opportunity like car burglaries. So Tony Corrales asked me certain questions, and I believe I answered them to his satisfaction.
So you've been in the department for 31 years.
Yes, that's correct.
It's a long time, huh?
Yes, it is.
And you started out actually in this area way back when.
Yeah, before I was 21, I wasn't old enough to become a deputy sheriff and go through the academy, so that the sheriff's department had a position called an intern, like a civilian assistant. And they asked me if the only opening they had was in the city of Malibu, at the old Malibu station. I said, no problem. I'm a beach guy and I love it. And it was a long drive for a few months, but some older detectives found me a little guest house out in Zuma Park. And I lived the Malibu lifestyle for a year. And then, I became a deputy sheriff. But I started in Malibu.
So you're a young man, you're 19, 20 years old. This is what you always wanted to do?
Not really. Like a lot of guys, I played some high school baseball, and at some point I wanted to be a fireman, and then I went on a ride-along in law enforcement, and I fell in love with it. It was very exciting and active, and I said, maybe I'll try that, and I applied for the sheriff's department.
They still have those ride-along programs?
Yes, they do. Any station in the county.
So if I'm a young man or woman and I'm interested in becoming a sheriff deputy, what would I do?
You contact your local sheriff station, go up to the desk, or you can even call community relations and set up a ride-along, and you can try it 1 time or 10 times and see if you like this type of profession.
And what type of impression did it leave on you at that age, do you think?
Oh, I remember like it was yesterday. I rode with a deputy, and it was a certain shift, and I remember to this day that they were all athletic. They all played sports, and they acted as a team, were very enthusiastic in their job, and it was a busy night. And I was really impressed with the way they handled situations, handled the community, but more importantly, how they acted together as a team, and that really impressed me.
And here you are some 30 years later, back in the same area where you started out. How's that feel?
Oh, I love it. Besides starting out here, and I've also worked out here several times as sergeant and a lieutenant. So, and I actually, my family's in this area. So I love being out here. I just feel a part of the community. I'm close to home. I understand the way of life out here. I understand the needs out here. And like I said in my interview and some other interviews, I want to be a part of the community. So I'm very happy to be out here.
So what's different about this area? I'm guessing geographically it's one of the largest coverage areas for the county sheriff's department.
Yes, it is. All the way up from County Chatsworth to the north end of Malibu, up to Topanga, on Calabasas, Westlake. It's very spread out.
And what's different in the challenges in this area versus, say, Monterey Park, I guess, where you were before?
Because it's spread out, it takes, there's a number of deputies and police cars, and to drive from point A to point B, the driving distance is a little longer for a situation or a call. In addition, the types of needs out here, traffic's very important, the flow of traffic, traffic safety. There's not a lot of crime out here, and we want to keep it that way, but things are different. We're here for citizens' needs, and again, it might be traffic, it might be school safety, it might be loitering at a park. Obviously, Malibu has the beach tourist situations and issues, so it all depends, but it is different from other areas of Southern California.
So you've only been on the job for a very short period of time. What types of things have you noticed already that you think you can improve on or need improvement?
I believe in my short time here that, again, my mantra or management philosophy is going to be is being responsive to the individual cities and, more importantly, each citizen in the city. Responsive meaning answering a phone call professionally and nicely, responding to a call. If it's a cat in a tree, if it's loud music in your neighbor, or if it's a serious traffic accident, I want my deputies, including me, we're going to respond. We're going to be responsive to people's needs.
So you've had some opportunity then to kind of look at the staffing and things. Are you staffed the way you want to be, or do you face the same types of issues that other county, city, federal agencies are facing right now?
I haven't really drilled down on the staffing. Of course, I could use more people, and like everybody, the federal level, state level, county level, the sheriff's department, and the individual cities. I'd love to have more, but I believe the budget worldwide, nationally, state and county is getting better, and I'm hoping it is. And we can look at things, and I'm going to think outside of the box and use my resources efficiently. But what I see right now is it's running fine. Cities are happy, the deputies are happy. So, but if I can improve on it, that'd be a priority.
When you say think outside of the box, what's something that you might do that might be worth a try that would be a little different?
Possibly rotating personnel on I think LAPD had a model, and the sheriff is really big on this, ComStat. Okay, if I can identify a problem area, let's say one city has has a lot of vehicle burglaries, and if I think there's a pattern, I might take some resources here and put them there. I might ask some of our specialized units to come in and maybe help me resolve the problem. There's all kinds of things you can do. It's just you have to be creative. I mean, we're all hurting for money and budgets are tight, but that doesn't stop me or any other manager from being creative and adjusting resources to fit the current problems.
Let's talk about, I guess you've looked at 3 areas that you're most concerned about. What are those?
Traffic issues, and that's just not traffic safety, but it's traffic flow. There's committees, the MTA is doing studies on traffic flow, the amount of cars on freeways and roads. That's everyday issues. I deal with traffic jams. All the way over to dangerous driving, distracted drivers with cell phones and texting people, driving under the influence, speeding, following too closely. That's a major issue in these 5 cities and the county areas. The thoroughfares from the valley side to the beach side, Canaan, Las Virgenes, and Topanga Canyon, very important. So traffic is a priority, a big priority and very important. Second is school. School issues, school safety, and not just the tragedies that we've seen through the country, and what we call an active shooter scenario, all the way to bullying. I mean, bullying, it's a subjective type incident, but it's very important to me. I have kids in grade school and high school. If school administrations are having problems with bullying, not just in person, but via the internet or texting, I just want to be available to them. I'm not going to be the end all, and I don't have the solution, but I want to work with them. Prom's coming up. It's very important to have available other resources other than the teenage or the seniors driving, whether it's a party at the campus, limos, taxi cab drivers, things like that. I just want to work with the school administrations to help out with that issue at that time of the year. Proms, school year's ending here next month. And the third thing is disaster preparedness. We live in a beautiful area with the Santa Monica Mountains, Calabasas, Malibu, Las Virgenes. We have to be prepared if there's a fire, an earthquake, a flood, anything. So I'm going to work with the county area, the 3rd District, Supervisor Antonovich's district with the county fire department. And we have a lot of reserves and volunteers in the city, disaster preparedness, disaster response teams, ham radio operators, our mountain rescue team, our Malibu Lost Hills Search and Rescue team is just one of the best teams in the world, in the nation, specifically in the LA County. They're awesome. They train. They're very professional. So those are the 3 main areas that I believe are going to be my theme for my command here at the station.
When you see things going on in other parts of the country, the school shootings, the recent Boston Marathon bombing, things like that, I guess maybe we somewhat here in this area live in a little bit of a bubble, and I mean that in maybe a good way, because we live in a fairly safe area and safe community, but it really tells us, I think, that we're not immune to things like this. It really could happen anywhere, and I don't think sometimes people grasp that like they should.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you totally. I mean, the school tragedies are in little suburban cities and schools. So again, it can happen anywhere. And I agree with you that it's a very safe place to live because of the cooperation between citizens, city governments, and law enforcement and the fire department. So, but we cannot be so relaxed and so comfortable that we overlook it. And that's why we work with the school districts and prepare for tragedies. So yeah, we have to be vigilant in case something happens.
And I think in the recent incident in Boston, they talked about citizens watching out. I mean, I guess what the FBI was saying was, we need your help, we need your eyes and ears. I guess that would apply just about anywhere in this day and age.
Yes, it is. It's called, in the military they use the term force multiplier. Yeah, citizens, especially with cell phones, everybody has one, they could be instant contact with the authorities, and if they see something, report it. Our subways in LA, Southern California, they have a program said, if you see something, report it, see it, call it in, anything, and we'll respond, whether it's a backpack that's sitting on a platform at the subway MTA, or if it's a suspicious person or whatever. And with technology, law enforcement can respond appropriately.
Certain things that you've been quoted and talked about include drugs in the schools and things like that. And specifically, I think I read something about heroin. I didn't realize that that's a big issue as I didn't know, basically.
Yeah, nor did I until I was a lieutenant in narcotics a few years ago, and some of the suburban schools in Southern California were the school administrations were seeing a rise in incidents relative to heroin. We've seen marijuana, we've seen cocaine, we've seen methamphetamine, but heroin kind of surprised us. It's not out of control, but it pops up its ugly head. And education to the schools should be, happening, and that's where we come in as educators to show them what signs and symptoms are, and if the school administrations need help in educating the parents, we're here for them. But heroin has popped up in certain schools and in outlying areas, so it's on our radar.
Cyberbullying, I think, is another one you touched on, but we've seen these recent news stories about young people and cyberbullying, committing suicide, things like that. I mean, it's a much bigger problem that I think parents may not be as aware of as they should in this day and age of social media, too.
Right, I agree with you. And again, it's the parents' involvement, the school administration involvement, and law enforcement. And how we can help is, we have what we call a high-tech unit that deals with social media, the internet, those types of incidents. And it's early on in its existence. So whether there's state law, federal law, I can't speak to that, but it is an issue, and our department specifically, our detective division, is really ramping up, working with different entities like USC, and some other people to bring this to people's attention. And bullying, physical bullying, is just unacceptable. And I'm sure school administrations monitor it and do their due diligence. But because of a lot of kids have the social media access via a smartphone or iPhone, and we just want to be around if there's questions, and we want to be on the forefront of possibly finding a solution with cities and school administrations.
I think you had said that crime was down in the area, but I think I read something recently that it talked about Calabasas, where they were saying that, you know, burglaries and home thefts were up, and that may or may not be the case.
Yeah, there are spikes in certain types of crimes and areas, and I do believe at the last Calabasas City Council meeting, the service area lieutenant mentioned that burglaries, car burglaries specifically, might have spiked. So I'd have to check on that and see. And if it is, we have solutions. You know, educating the public, not leaving things in plain sight in their cars, locking their cars. And if there's burglars, we have our investigative means, whether it's directed patrol, surveillance, informants, things like that. And if there's a problem, we'll deal with it.
So when you come into this department and you know, it's your job as the new guy to kind of, well, I mean, maybe not the new guy, but new position guy to kind of evaluate things. What types of things did you see that you were impressed by that were already going on here?
Number one was the openness and the cooperation between this station, Malibu Lost Hills Sheriff's, and the cities, whether it's our community relation deputies or our watch commanders. A lot of good communication with the 5 cities and 2 county areas, and I want to keep that and even actually make it better. I believe in some of the interviews I said I want to be the approachable station captain, transparent, and that's why I enjoy talking to you and other people. Just I want to be here for the people. I don't want an us versus them mentality, and you know, they can't come in and talk to anybody in uniform.
So that's the good side of it. This has been a station that's certainly been in the news and had its share of issues in recent years. What do you think you need to do better here?
My experience is just seeing or acknowledging the incident and taking charge of an incident and advising the right people. And if you do the right thing always, I think things will work out. And so if you do the right thing, even if it's unpopular, if you stay in front of it, you're transparent and you're honest and you communicate well to everybody, whether it's the family involved, whether it's my boss, the sheriff, or the cities that I work for, that everybody is aware of what's going on, we're all on the same sheet of music, and we're honest.
So would you call this your dream job then?
Yes, hands down. If somebody above me said, you know, Captain Davoren, you could have any unit in the department, this would be it.
Why do you think that is?
Because of the attachment to the area. There's a lot of young deputies here, energetic deputies that need a person, I believe, like me, that will motivate and genuinely enjoy what they're doing. And like I said, mainly it's the attachment to the community, my experience in this whole area, from Malibu through all the valley cities. I just love this place.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of City Spotlight. We hope you've enjoyed the program. More importantly, we hope you've learned a little something about our new captain here at the Lost Hills Sheriff Station. For more information on this program or any of our CTV specials, just log on to our website, cityofcalabasas.com. I'm Pablo Pereira. Thanks for joining us.